Hey everybody, so I'm back with another video using my scraps. This pad here was the one that I also shared at the beginning of last week's video. So if you just found my channel, you're just joining today, check out last week's and also my whole scraps playlist because I've got loads on there now. There's so many different card ideas, but I've got, I think it's 8 cards planned out. So let's get started. So I think all the cards this week are 6x6. Last week they were all 5x7, but you can mix, you know, the different designs across the different sizes. It really doesn't matter. I thought for this one I'm going to use some acetate. So I've got myself here a 6x6 acetate card blank. You can cut this using your A4 card. It would just end up being slightly under 6x6, or cut a piece of 12-inch cardstock in half and then fold that in half and you've got a 6x6 card blank. I've then cut myself these 2 pieces to go inside so you've got a space to write your message. These ones here are 5 1/4 squared. So I'm going to stick one inside here, and then because you'd see the double-sided tape, I'm going to stick that one just to go on the back. If you're not bothered about people seeing that, then you don't need that extra one, but it does just tidy it up a little bit. So they're going to go inside like so. Like so, I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick that down. And then these are the topper sheets in that pack. So I've just fussy cut that one and just cut that one down. And then I had these strips here. And these are 1/2 inch by, I think they're just under the 6 inches, so 5 3/4. And I thought it would look nice to have some of them, well, it is directional, that one's got the bird on it, but to have them spaced. Again, these are all very easy cards, the scraps videos. Have them just spaced out evenly. So I think I've got 7 strips. I start like so. So if you put the middle one in first and then work your way out. But I've probably got about 1/4 inch gap between them. And then I thought I'd have that running right through the middle. And then the topper like so. And then I just need a sentiment. Because in that pack, you get, these are the top sheets, and you get the happy birthday, with love, best wishes, and you'll see them on all of the other ones. But I think that's going to look really nice. So I'm going to stick this all down using double-sided tape, and then I'll show you it all finished. So that's that one all stuck down. Really like it. I think it looks lovely on the acetate. There you can see all your space inside there to write your message. Really nice style, that one. Okay, on to number 2. So for this one, I have cut a load of hearts, and it's using this little heart punch. You can use any shape, any size. This one is 1 inch wide by about 3/4. And then I've got the with love sentiment here, because I just thought with all the hearts and the with love sentiment, it looked really nice. I might have it stuck towards the left hand side. And then the idea is to have all these hearts. I want them, I'm going to cut some of them off the edge. Maybe start them down there. And have them all coming up above each other, but all different heights. So I just need to kind of plan out. So in terms of like the amounts, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to have that one a bit lower down. So the idea is they're kind of all, they all sit next to each other like so. But I want to have, I just think it's quite nice when you have parts of like the design coming off the side of the card. I'm going to stick these all down with some liquid glue, because then that'll give me a little bit of wiggle time so I can just position them correctly. It's going to be something like this, and I'm going to do that all the way along and all different heights and stick them all down. So that's that one all finished. Really clean and simple. I've popped some foam up on the sentiment because everything else is really flat, but you could stamp a sentiment there and that would look really nice, like a nice verse or something. But I think it's really effective. If you've got lots of different colours as well, I think that would look really cool, and you could use stars and things like that. So yeah, really pleased with that one. So card number 3, very, very easy. I've just cut myself these squares, which are 1 1/4, and I'm just going to lay them. So you got 4 in each row, and I think there's 4 rows when I played around with this one. It's kind of directional, this one. I think the flowers are meant to be that way up. I had lots of this pink left over, but it wasn't full sheets, it was just all broken down. So I've managed to get this many 1 1/4 squares. But I thought it looked quite nice with all these panels. And then again, I've taken one of the toppers. Now you could lift these up on foam, which I might well do, because I've got these ones here, which are the 1 inch squared. So they sit perfectly behind there. So I think I'll pop them all up on foam. And then I've cut this one out from the topper sheet. I thought that looked really nice in the middle with the sentiment, sending big hugs, because you've got the 2 birds together there. And I thought it looked quite sweet. So I'm going to stick all those down. Okay, so that's that all stuck down. I love the foam. I say this in a lot of my scraps videos. By just popping everything up on foam, it just really transforms it and it just gives it that drop shadow. But of course, if you're posting it and you don't want to have that much dimension, then just sticking them down will give you, you know, an effect like this here. They both look nice, but I do love the foam there. And I popped it up on that and also on the sentiment there. So that's card number 3. So for card number 4, I had random scraps with these birds. And I was trying to think of the best way to use them. So I thought I'll use a circle punch. It's a scallop punch. And it's my 1 1/2 inch one. And I've punched all of the birds out. And then I'm going to stick them onto, so this is a 6x6 card blank. I've then cut this piece, which is 5 3/4 squared, to go on top. And then this one here is what I'm going to stick all of the birds on. And this one is, I might just do that one like so. Make sure I've got the orange and the turquoise kind of spread out from each other. And I just kind of want to butt them all up to each other, create that effect all over. And then I'm going to trim around the edges. And then the sentiment I've cut from the topper sheet. I've just punched a hole. There's little kind of, I haven't got it to show you actually. You can't see it there, but it's just got white dots there, but I just punched through it and then added some eyelets. And I'm going to add some of this twine and then wrap it around this piece and then stick it onto these ones here. So I'll stick that one on top. That one's going to go on top of that one, but I'm going to wrap the string around just to add a little bit of texture. So again, I'm going to stick this all down and I'll show you it when it's done. So that's those all stuck down. I've just changed the layout slightly, and then I've just popped some twine through each end there, and just to kind of balance the dimension that the string's giving on the ends there. I'm going to pop a bit of foam on the back here, so that's just going to stop that dipping. And then I'm going to stick this in place first. I mean, you can have it, yeah, it looks quite nice at the top, but I'm going to just go. I'm just going to lay this one down in the middle, about there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just cut the bulk of that off, grab some double-sided tape and just pop that on each end. Just tack those in place, like so. I just open them up a little bit. That looks quite nice there, like so. And then I'm going to add foam pads, just so that then you won't get the bulk from the twine there. I think that looks really pretty. I love the texture from the string there and the hardware. So that's card number 4. So for card number 5, I'm revisiting the brick wall, floral brick wall design that I did last week, and I'd done it with all different coloured papers, and that was on a 5x7 size. And I thought this time, because I've got so much of this pink, I'm going to cover all of this with a brick wall design, just using the same design paper instead. I don't know how many pieces are here, but you want enough to cover whatever area it is, but they're 1/2 by 1. And starting from the top, just kind of have that one slightly hanging over the edge, and then leave yourself a little gap in between. The gap is up to you if you want to have like 1/2 inch gaps, whatever, but I guess I've got about a 1/8 of an inch there, so 1/8 of an inch from the top and then in between each piece. And then again, that one's overhanging. Now when you go to the next layer, just like a brick wall, that one's going to be in between there. The bit that I cut off there, I can just stick slightly onto that edge. In fact, I'll bring it in slightly just so it's got a bit more to stick on there. And then just start the next row. I'm going to use my liquid glue again, so you've got that time to be able to just move it into position. And then again, you want to make sure that you've always got a little bit coming off the edge. So I might actually go like that, as long as it overlaps that part of the design, because each row is going to be slightly different, like so, and then back down again. So now I can do that one there, and then that piece. So this is kind of like the first row now, and just repeat that until you've covered your area. And that's the brick wall one. I've popped the sentiment at the bottom there and then just carried on a bit more with the brick wall. Or you could do it the other way around, or like I said, cover the whole thing and do a nice topper in the middle. But I think that looks really, really sweet. So that's number 5. So number 6 is very easy. This is using the strips from one of the topper pads. I just hadn't used them, so I just cut them all. And I'm going to have them like that. And then at the very bottom, I'm going to stamp a sentiment from this set here, probably the birthday one, I think, or maybe that script happy birthday one. See how much space I've got. I think, yeah, either of those will go and look quite nice at the bottom. So yeah, very easy. Just going to stick those straight onto the card and then stamp the sentiment at the bottom. So it's a really clean style there with the sentiment stamped directly onto the card. I think it looks really nice. So card number 6. I actually think I've got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've got 2 more still. So this one, I'm going to use some glitter, and this is the herringbone technique. This is one of my favourite techniques to do using scraps. It's very, very easy to do, lots of fun. So I've cut myself. These strips are all just as they were, so they're just all different lengths, all different widths, it doesn't matter. 6x6 card blank, and then I've cut this piece here to 5 5/8 squared, but again, any layer size you want. And then I've got some double-sided sticky sheet here. You could use, you basically want to cover this one here. Let's get rid of the card blank. You want to cover this piece with double-sided tape. So if you don't have a sticky sheet, you could use your tape and just, you know, do loads and loads of strips of that. But if you've got the sheets, it's just a bit quicker. So just peel off the backing, and then I always like to stick, do it that way, stick the panel onto the piece here. So right up to the edge. Oh, a little bit crooked there, but that's fine. And then lay that back down and then just cut around it. And that way you don't waste any of your tape. Although, like I said, I have gone completely crooked there, so I'm just going to cut that off now. You can also do this technique without the double-sided tape. I'm using this for speed, but also because I'm going to be adding glitter into all of the white space left. But I've made lots of them without this, and it looks nice with the white space as well. So it just depends on what effect you want. But take the backing off, and then you just want to take one of your strips. It doesn't matter what one. I've got my topper there. Let's go for, what's this one here? Right. and you want to just lay one down right across. You could do straight if you want. I always kind of do it on an angle, so right across. And then now you've got 2 areas. I next want to divide those areas again, so I'm going to use this piece, but this time you can butt it right up if you want to. Again, that's another way to use it and have no white space at all. And again, that's why the double-sided tape's really good, because it can just, you know, you've got it, your adhesive's already there ready for you to stick the pieces down. But I'm going to leave a gap, about a 1/8 of an inch gap, stick that one down there. And then I'm going to take this one and come down here. So I want to create 2 sections. They don't have to be the same. Again, that same gap. So now we've got 4 sections. So now I'm going to take another colour, and again, you just want to keep sticking with that same gap, and you're going to start to create a herringbone pattern. But you just take all different designs and different patterns and just lay it down next to the other piece, and then you're doing this pattern here where you're kind of creating a bit of a point each time. So I do have a video just dedicated to this technique, so I'm probably not going into all the details here. I'll link it up if I remember to do so. And now I'm going to stick that one in there. So can you see we've got these kind of arrows in that section? So now I'm going to move it around and create the arrows in this section here. And that's that herringbone pattern. I'm trying to keep the same patterns away from each other. So I have this one down here. And that's why it's nice to have all the different lengths and widths. So if you have, you know, a paper pad and you've trimmed it down to fit onto different card sizes, more than likely you've got lots of these strips. And then if you feel you're running out, you're going to trim these off, so you've got these pieces to then use again in the other areas. So I'm just going to carry on doing this. Like I said, if you like this technique but you want to see it a bit slower, check out the video there. So that's everything stuck down. I've snipped off the edges, but now I've got all that sticky white space there. So I'm just taking a glitter. This is the turquoise by Arteza, and I'm just going to dump it all over. These look lovely for Christmas cards in like red and green and silver. Really, really pretty. I'll just dump that all over, and then you want to rub that in just so it really does stick to all of that, and you can already see it's like a reveal. And you could do this with any design. It doesn't have to be the herringbone design. Any, you know, pattern. You could just do, you know, all of the patterns I've shown you actually. You could stick onto double-sided sticky sheet, and then whatever white space you decide to leave, you can then just cover with your glitter. And if you don't like using glitter, you can use gilding flakes as well, because I know glitter's not going to be for everybody, but I've got a lot of this left, so I want to get it used. Wipe away any excess, and I'm going to trim my square down a little bit, because where the tape went off slightly this side, I've got a little gap there. So I'll just tidy that up in a minute. But now you can see you've got that gorgeous design. So pretty. I think that would look really nice with this one here. Imagine the rest of that all covered in glitter. And again, you know, things like this, or even the brick wall. How lovely would that look with that card base all covered in glitter? So yeah, it's a really, really fun technique. Like I said, one of my favourites. Okay, so I'm not going to use that topper. I've just popped the With Love there. Didn't realise, but I had these birds, you can just see there, and this was the best orientation to have it. So that one's kind of on its side, but it looks okay, and then he's the right way up. The one here that's just underneath is upside down, and it just looked odd. So I've just popped the With Love over there. I think that's perfect. I think it looks really nice. Plus it doesn't cover up the design, because this one here, just thought it kind of hid a bit too much, but although it does look quite nice in the middle. Anyway, you've got the idea there. You can, you know, add whatever you want to it. So I'm going to keep that as it is. So again, pretty straightforward this one. I've just cut myself, I think I used my punch for these. They're 1-inch squares. Any size you want. I've got a matte and a layer. The sentiment is from the topper sheet, and then I've just cut a circle and a scallop circle to layer on top there. And then again, 6x6 card blank. I've got this piece here, which is 5 1/4 squared, and then the white piece is 5 inches squared. That's just to fit the 1-inch squares that I've got here. And the idea was to have the sentiment in the middle. Like I said, very, very easy, simple one this. And then, yeah, so they are right next to each other. So they completely cover the 5-inch width, like so. And then again, coming down the side, if you want to leave a gap, you can. You could use the double-sided tape and add the glitter like I showed you. Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit like a quilt. It's got that kind of quilt look to it. I might see if I've got any more scraps and cover the whole of that piece. I'm almost tempted to try and see if I could cut, because I've got another card that I was going to do, but that's full of like panels because it was what was left over. But it'd be quite nice to just maybe fill that, or just with a larger piece. So you may see that change, but the idea is that you just cover it, but you butt them right up to each other. So whereas with most of the other cards I've made, I've left a little gap between everything, like this one here, by actually now butting them up to each other, it gives you a different look again. So I've changed this up a little bit. I've actually stuck this main square slightly, you know, crooked. I know that's not going to be for everybody, but I actually like it. But I think it's worked. And then I've just added some of those faceted pearls in the corner. And then I changed the sentiment. Those weren't really working on this style together, but I think that's turned out, again, really pretty. So now the last card, so card number 9, I've taken a few bits from it, but I've basically just started laying out, again, a kind of bit of a patchwork, I guess. This was just, again, all the pieces left, but I thought it would be nice to just kind of see how I might have to trim the odd one down. So like if I line, they work together, but I think I need to trim that so it's in line with that one. And then I could have that piece stuck down there. And then again, trim it so they're all in line. And then that one, I took some of the green to cover the rest of this. So I am a little bit short, but we'll make it work. That's what these cards are all about. It's literally using what you have. I actually think that looks quite nice. So I'm going to trim it all down. We'll see how we go with that. Again, I might slightly change it. Okay, so that's that one done. Again, very, very simple. I've just gone with what I had on that one. But I think it's turned out quite sweet. The only thing that's bugging me is the bird. It was down here and I turned that piece around, but yeah, I guess I can kind of get away with it. But anyway, there you go. So that is card number 9. So let's go back through them all again. So as always, at the end of the scraps videos, just pop in the comments which one you preferred. So this is number 1. So that was using the acetate with all of those stripes. I think that's got such a lovely effect when it catches the light. Number 2, really lovely, very clean card there with all the hearts there. Number 3, just that simple grid, but by lifting it up on the foam, just gives it that dimension. I really love this one. I think this might be my favourite one. So this is number 4. Love the brick wall, number 5. And again, another simple one with the stripes there. It's very similar to the acetate one, but again, if you don't have acetate, you can create this effect here. That's number 6. Again, beautiful. That's probably joint one as well. Number 7, and then this one here, number 8, and then the one I've just done, number 9. So yeah, pop in the comments which one you prefer, but 9 cards this week using scraps from that paper pad. There's not really anything I can link in the description box below. The paper pad sold out a long time ago now, but I will link the adhesive, the foam adhesives that I've used, and also the acetate sheets as well, because you want that heavier kind of construction weight when you're using it for a card blank. So thank you as always for watching today. I'll have some other scraps videos coming up now. You might want to watch those next, along with the playlist that I would have shared as well. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so and you've enjoyed today, and that way you won't miss out on any future videos. See you all again soon. Bye.